All right, let's dive into a truly mind-bending thought experiment. What if, and just think about this for a second, what if our sun, right now, just collapsed into a black hole? We're going to map out exactly what that would look like moment by moment.
So, let's set the scene. Imagine, in an instant, poof, the sun is gone, replaced by a black hole. Now, your brain probably jumps straight to a classic, end-of-the-world movie scene, right? But the actual science, well, it's way, way stranger than you might think.
So the common myth, what pretty much everyone assumes, is that we'd get instantly sucked in, right? It's like a giant cosmic vacuum cleaner. Game over. But the scientific reality, believe it or not, our orbit, it wouldn't change. Not one bit. We just keep on circling.
Okay, so how is that even possible? I mean, it's a black hole. This brings us to what I'm calling the gravity surprise. Let's dig into the physics of why we wouldn't actually fall in.
You see, here's the secret. When it comes to gravity, at our distance, it's all about mass. It doesn't care about how big or small something is, just how heavy it is. And since this new black hole would have the exact same mass as our sun, its gravitational pull on us stays exactly the same. We're just too far away to feel any difference.
But just to give you an idea of what we're talking about, the sun's entire mass, all of it, would be crushed down into a tiny sphere just 3 kilometers across. That's like taking 1,000,000 planets the size of Earth and squeezing them into an area smaller than a city. The density is, well, it's basically impossible to wrap your head around. So the crucial point here, the thing to really remember, is that Earth would just keep going. It would continue its year-long trip orbiting this tiny, invisible point in space exactly like it does the sun today. So no, we don't get sucked in. The immediate problem isn't gravity. Not at all.
Which, of course, brings up the obvious question. If we don't fall in, then are we okay? What's the catch? Oh, there's a catch, all right. And the catch is basically everything else. And this is where our timeline begins. Welcome to the countdown to darkness, the first few hours of a world without a sun.
So the moment the sun collapses, it happens instantly. But for us, here on Earth, we wouldn't know, not right away. Because light has a speed limit, we get a few final moments of blissful, total ignorance before the lights go out.
We'd have exactly 8 minutes. For 8 minutes, the last light from our sun is still racing across space towards us. For 8 minutes, we'd look up at a perfectly normal sky, with absolutely no idea that our star is already dead.
And after those 8 minutes, the light switch gets flipped. Instantly. Not a fade to black like a sunset, but a sudden, total, absolute darkness. The moon would vanish because it's got nothing to reflect. The only light left in the sky would be the faint pinpricks of distant stars. It would be a permanent, unending night forever.
Now, as terrifying as total darkness is, it's not even the biggest problem. With the darkness comes the cold. An unimaginable, lethal cold. And that brings us to the next chapter of this story, Earth's catastrophic deep freeze.
Without the sun's furnace, our planet immediately starts bleeding heat into space. And it happens fast. We're talking within just a few weeks, the average surface temperature would plummet to minus 100 degrees Celsius. That's way, way colder than even the most brutal winters in Antarctica.
This intense cold triggers a complete planetary shutdown. Photosynthesis just stops, and with it, the entire food chain collapses. The oceans, they'd frost over at first, and then freeze completely solid, top to bottom. And then something even crazier happens. The atmosphere itself would freeze and just fall to the ground as a kind of alien snow. Earth becomes a barren, airless ball of ice.
So, is there any hope at all? Well, maybe a tiny sliver. Way down in the deepest parts of the ocean, there's life clustered around hydrothermal vents. They get their heat from the Earth's core, not the sun. For a while, they might not even notice anything had changed. They could very well be the last living things on the entire planet.
But even that lifeline wouldn't last forever. Which brings us to the final, chilling chapter of this story. The silent orbit. The final fate of our world.
There's a quote that just sums it up perfectly. Earth would become a frozen, silent world orbiting a tiny black hole where our sun once shined. Just a ghost planet, forever tethered to the ghost of its star.
It's a really chilling thought, isn't it? But it does leave you with one last question to ponder. Could any form of life, even microbial, somehow survive in that frozen dark? Just waiting,
For the ridiculously small chance, maybe millions or billions of years from now, that it gets captured by the gravity of a brand new star?